And well, about the sad death of George Floyd, who was a man who was basically killed by a group of officers, I would say. So black people, I think, everywhere are talking about everything that happened, and basically wherever they live, whether they live in UK or USA or other parts of the world in which there is a white majority, I would say, they are crying out against not just black people, actually, people that are sympathetic to the black experience are crying out about what happened to George Floyd. If you're a black or brown skinned person, at one point in your life you've probably experienced racism, people simply not liking you because of the way you were born. And what I would say is there's been a lot of unrest in the USA, etc., and even in other parts of the world, even in England as well, there's been protests. Nothing is actually going to change unless our voices are heard in different parts of the organisations that make up a society, such as in our religious places of worship, in our schools, in our hospitals, in the literature, in the films that people watch. Unless we're more involved in that, this is not going to change. And it's all well and good to say Blackout Tuesday and post a black square on your Instagram page, but what are you doing for the population as a whole? How are you making the population as a whole better? How are you creating better experiences for black people? So I think that's the biggest learning point that we can try to do for everything that happened with George Floyd, to listen to what he said is, I can't breathe. And when he said I can't breathe, we should take that metaphorically. We cannot live in a world in which we are not being heard, our voices are not being heard, in which we're seen in a specific way, a negative way. So unless our voices are heard in other institutions, which might mean that more black people are employed in that particular sector, I think that's the kind of change that we need to be seen. So what I want to leave with you all is, how are you going to let the death of George Floyd change your behaviour for the better, change the experience of black people for the better? So take care. All my love and lipstick. Take care, guys.